Hello traders, Gary Wagner here, just about 11 o'clock in Honolulu, 4 o'clock in New York on Tuesday, the 17th day of February 2015, and this is the daily report for gold and silver. On news of the European Union and Greece coming to some sort of agreement about the austerity program over in Greece sent the markets moving sharply lower to the downside in terms of precious metals. Equities markets moving to record highs. First to gold, 1208.63. That's our current print on the screen, putting it off about $19 on the day. The low, 1203.50, the high 1229.10, and as I said, currently 1208.58. We were stopped out of our trade. It is a very, very disappointing stop that was hit, but it was hit nonetheless. We'll talk about that in a second. First, let's look at silver. Silver getting battered hard today, off almost 5% on the day in terms of the net change, about 83 cents lower. Now currently trading at 60.50. In terms of the highs and lows on the day. Silver has hit a low of 1627 and a high of 1725. More on silver towards the end of the show. Traders, first, I do want to talk about our current trade. We were stopped out today as the market slid and slid hard below any kind of potential support that we had identified. In terms of the trade itself, we had an inverted hammer. We got confirmation. I came in, I tried to play it safe by coming in the following day. The one thing that we can see when we look at this in hindsight is how, even though these were green bodies, the range between the open and close really narrowed on this last candle, almost a starlight candle. And then from there, we have this market just break down, hitting this low at about 1203. Of course, we placed our stops at a strategic point so that as long as it remained really above these particular lows here, we were okay. That obviously wasn't to be the case. As I said, it is not something I'm happy to report, but it is something that I have to report nonetheless. And I do want to thank, I did receive quite a few emails this morning showing support, and that is just a tremendous boost to me, especially on a day like today where we're facing some hard logic in terms of our last trade. So more importantly, what are we looking at from here on out, and where do we think this market's going? Well, the first thing that we have to say is there's two things that we want to look at. The first point that we want to look at is the fact that we had this utter and severe breakdown below this kind of support level, and the next real level of support on a technical basis doesn't really come in till about $1,200 per ounce. The second thing that we want to pay very close attention to is tomorrow we're awaiting the minutes from the latest U.S. Federal Reserve meeting for any kind of fresh clues regarding an expected interest rate hike, and the policymakers at hand. The fact that they're going to attempt to show some sensitivity to whether or not there's inflation, the unemployment numbers, and see how they handle it tomorrow. We are obviously going to remain sidelined before the minutes come out. We'll ascertain how that affects the market and then go from there. So traders, as far as the other markets that we do follow and we do look at for clues as to what's going to happen in the precious metals, the equities market is one that we follow very, very closely. We can see this former top that we had roughly at 2090, 2096, I believe, was the record high coming into today. That record high was right here, and we certainly exceeded that, closing at 2097. S&P at a new record high, Dow at a new record high. We are looking at a crude oil chart right now. Crude oil up today also. This is a weekly chart. You can see how it hit, what was that low? About 43. Market spikes up. You have two very, very strong weeks. This, of course, we're only at the beginning of the week, so we'll see how much further, if oil continues to rise, it can go, if it's going to be able to pop back over 55. But we do have oil trading higher on the day. Traders, we're looking at our weekly dollar chart, and we can see that the dollar seems, at least on a tentative basis, to have found some real resistance right at around 96. You can see over the last 4 trading weeks, this being a weekly chart here, we have had lower prices in the dollar index, and that seems to be continuing today. Traders, most importantly, as far as I'm concerned, is really on this last move where we've seen gold break to almost 1,200 per ounce after hitting this high roughly at 1,300, is whether or not we have seen any real long-term damage in the charts itself. Now, I'd like to line this particular trend line up a little bit better so that it effectively hits these highs right here, our last set of highs, as well as this, and that will give us our long-standing resistance line. Of course, we saw it break above that resistance line. We saw it also find support, but the real key is this: we are again at a crossroads in this market. We've broken through intermediate support and we've broken through it hard. The question is, have we seen really long-term technical damage in terms of where the market's going? And we're very close to actually moving back into this resistance area. A move back below this is extremely bearish for gold prices as we look at it in the future. And lastly, we'll take a look at silver as it trades today. Tremendous downside as we see it down almost 5%. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen it. Even recently, here's another 5% move in silver. So we've seen silver really have the ability to spike up hard. Here's a 5% move up or 5% down. We're getting some really, really strong moves in the market. The key is that we're not getting consistent moves, meaning upward trends or downward trends. Rather, we're getting them on both sides of the fence. This, to be honest, has been a tricky market to call in terms of the precious metals. This has been Gary Wagner, wishing you as always good trading. I am sorry we did not get that today. We'll talk to you tomorrow for another daily update and review. Bye-bye.